It's great to be back presenting wave 3 actually of our game advertising State of the Nation survey. So earlier this month we surveyed 100 advertising decision makers who work in agencies and brands to assess their level of experience with game advertising and work out how to build confidence to continue increasing investment in this exciting new space. So I'm going to take you through some highlights of the study today, but you can download the full report from the IAB website afterwards. So let's firstly take a look at experience with game advertising this year. So experience amongst mainstream advertising agencies is still mostly at that experimental and early adopter stage. It's not yet embedded as a significant or regular part of activity, but experimentation is certainly increasing. So overall, we've got 68% of our respondents who had used game advertising to date, which is up from 62% last year. We've got 25% regularly considering game advertising. In the current economic climate, where brands are perhaps more wary of experimenting with new media in their mix at the moment, there is a small number there who currently have no plans for game advertising. And they are saying that they commonly say that it's not suitable for their client or that they do specialise in other channels. But let's focus in on those who are current users of game advertising. And we can see that amongst these current users, increasing participation and activity in game advertising. So we've got over half who have used game advertising say that they have increased their activity over the last 12 months. And there's indications to expect that this, will steadily increase over time, because we've got 72% there who say that they intend to increase their activity over the next 12 months. In terms of how they're buying, we're seeing that most game advertisers are still currently buying directly from the media owner. This is where they can choose their different games and formats and genres that suit their brand. But there has been an increase in respondents this year using programmatic guaranteed deals, and a lot of the comments in our research are showing that there is real interest in getting a greater range of formats added to programmatic. So what's driving all of this activity? Brand building continues to be the #1 driver for continuing to use or recommend game advertising. And we'll see later that brand building is also the #1 campaign objective. So the term gamer now represents, a broad and diverse range of consumers, and it's that diversity in gamer audiences that's also continuing to drive usage this year. And that's along with accessing hard-to-reach audiences and reaching those audiences at scale. Two other drivers here to mention, higher audience attention and better targeting and personalisation. They're two drivers that have increased since we surveyed people last year. Building brand awareness continues as a key driver, as we mentioned, and it's also, the primary objective of game advertising campaigns. And it has been in all waves of the study that we've conducted, and it's similar to many other forms of digital advertising, like video and audio. However, this year we are seeing some change in campaign objectives that are related to the current economic climate. So there is a shift towards using game advertising for lower funnel objectives, with significant increases you can see here in using it to drive purchase intent and using it to drive sales and conversions. So this slight decline in usage for brand and substantial increase in using for lower funnel objectives is evident across the market in other formats. So when we surveyed video, for video advertising in March, we saw a very similar thing. So definitely, a general market focus on short-term sales and the need for your advertising to work harder across multiple objectives. So when we're evaluating game advertising opportunities, there's a range of considerations that are factoring into those decisions. And most respondents consider all of these in their decisions to some degree, and they haven't really changed much year on year. All respondents are saying that audience suitability is a major factor, and that remains the number one consideration. Context and suitability to game values are also important factors. Also, the only, I guess, consideration that has increased a little bit since last year is that ways to engage the creator and influencer content is slightly up. So as Gay mentioned, there is this diverse range of exciting formats that are available, and different ad formats and creative deployments can fulfill various roles ranging from the top of funnel awareness right through to the lower funnel objectives as well. So advertisers are experimenting with this wide range of formats, including the most popular, so mobile and streaming adjacent display and video continue to be the most used game formats. There's been growth again this year in the use of playable ads, so that's come up the list to number 3. And there's been growth in game influencer marketing, esports sponsorships, as well as those merging formats at the bottom of that list there, shoppable, brand extensions, and the metaverse. In terms of formats that people intend to use for the first time in the coming year, it is those 3 formats at the bottom of the list that have the greatest intention to use for the first time. So to enable sustainable growth in this channel, we do need to ensure that this increasing number of formats is clearly understood, and we have smooth processes to buy and sell. So how are we evaluating our campaigns? This year we continue to see a prioritisation of delivery metrics being the most commonly used to assess success. So completion rates and reach and frequency have overtaken the sheer volume of impressions delivered as the most common used metrics at the moment. Delivery metrics should be used in combination with effectiveness metrics to show that full impact once the campaign reaches its audience, and it's encouraging to see that we've got 92% of advertisers here that are at least sometimes using brand-related metrics. With that focus on short-term sales, we're also seeing sales lift measurement increase there, so pretty substantial increase. And on the next slide, we're going to see brand safety concerns have increased. So it is positive to see here that the measurement of brand safe non-fraudulent impressions has also increased. As advertisers are looking for more ways to engage the creator and influencer content, and that growing usage of game influencer marketing, measurement of the social reaction to the campaign has also increased. So there are 2 areas of opportunity to embed game advertising as a more regularly considered advertising option. And those 2 areas are brand safety and suitability and measurement. So brand safety has increased to become the number 1 barrier this year. So brand safety concerns can be mitigated with various technology and planning measures. I think our panel, will talk a little bit more about that this afternoon. Measurement is the other big key challenge, and that's commonly cited across many of our State of the Nation surveys. The industry, we need to continue work to provide that evidence of effectiveness for brand and ROI. And game advertising increasingly being planned and bought and sold, with other media, particularly video. So demonstrating how these media work together is also very important. So just to quickly sum up a few things to do. Continuing to invest in experimenting with game advertising and marketing. We are seeing some very disruptive economic conditions at the moment, but there's a body of evidence out there that really proves that if you can hold the line through these times and continue to invest, you'll emerge better off. Keep leveraging those brand building and brand storytelling capabilities, but it might be the time to experiment with lower funnel activations and creative messages that drive purchase and conversions. So look into those innovative ad formats that target specific parts of the funnel. Leverage your available technologies to ensure brand safety and focus on those formats that maintain your brand values. And of course, continue to measure for effectiveness. Request that your measurement partners adopt comparable measures of impact across media that include game advertising. So we should be working towards evaluating in-game advertising to the same standard as other traditional and digital media. Lastly, given the influence that creative has on effectiveness, really is worth the effort to design strong, impactful creative that is fit for that purpose. And keeping informed and building knowledge, which you can tick because you're here today to listen to all of our experts. So well done. So this is the QR code that you can download the full report. It is available on the IAB website for you to take a look at.